Uh, this is taking kinda long, ain't it? Yeah, the stairs feel bigger. Where is the eclipse? Hello, it's me again. And this time to talk about something very different from usual. If you take a superficial look on my channel, you'll be able to see that I'm really into RPGs, more specifically the quirky, and that's a type of game that I've made a lot of videos about. But when the subjects come to other genres and types of game, I gotta admit I'm kind of a poser. I did make some videos about other stuff like Resident Evil 4 or Doom, but there aren't a lot, and I've been looking to expand my catalog of games. And a friend of mine, Folias, that also participated on some videos here, such as the Beggining one, a video where I recreated Garden of Banban entirely in a very stupid way that you should definitely give a check. It's a pretty cool video. On the Resident Evil 4 video, and on the one where I also recreate another game, this time Escape do Gordão, that you probably never heard of, but give these videos a try, they're good. Okay, continuing, he suggested a game from a franchise that I've been really curious to give a look. Castlevania, or more specifically, Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. As I said before, I always had some kind of interest on the Castlevania franchise. Its aesthetic has always been kinda appealing for me. You know, I have always been an edgy guy. I've always heard good things about it, mainly about Symphony of the Night. Everyone says the gameplay and level design is just incredible, and to be honest, it indeed looked very cool. So I decided to give it a try, and it ended up being really, well, interesting. So let me explain to you guys my first experience with Castlevania Aria of Sorrows. But before, make sure to leave a like, a comment, and check the other videos I posted on this channel. You'll probably enjoy them too. And if you like my channel as a whole, consider subscribing. Now seriously, don't just ignore this as a generic YouTuber warning. I'm a beginner channel, and every little kind of help you can give me really makes a difference. So now, let's do this. I'm back here. Hey guys, it's me, the bad audio quality man. How are you guys doing? Did you guys miss me? Of course you did. Lalo asked me to come here and explain a little bit of this game's origins before he gives his statement on it. So since I'm a very good friend, or at least a very good voice in his head, I of course said yes, and here I am. Developed and published by Konami on 2003, Castlevania Aria of Sorrows is a Metroidvania game and the third one from the Castlevania franchise. It was made for Game Boy Advance, led by Koji Igarashi. Michiru Yamane composed the soundtrack alongside with Takashi Yoshida and Soichiro Hokai. Director Junichi Murakami was new to the Castlevania series, and no, I did not straight up just read their Wikipedia, I would never do that. Aria of Sorrow is set on the year 2035, when Dracula has been sealed away after a battle in 99s. The plot follows the journey of Soma Cruz, a teenager granted the cult. Okay, reading is boring as fuck, and I don't want to participate anymore, so let the journey begin! First of all, yes, I'm going to document the download because I can. Just like downloading Resident Evil 4, this installation was painful. Not just the download took a while because I literally forgot to click the download button. I opened the link Folha sent me and sat there waiting without clicking on the download because I am stupid. And once I realized that, I actually downloaded it and opened the game. But of course, things couldn't be that easy for me, they never are. And I spent a while trying to understand how the controls worked, trying to change them and just make them fucking work. But it worked, and then my gameplay truly began. I was in a call with my friend Folias while playing it, as usual. And as usual, it was pretty chaotic.
You're a woman.
No, I kiss many girls. I have a girlfriend, and you don't.
Fuck you.
Today I'm here again with my friend Folias that, guess what, doesn't know how to speak English. If you watch it.
Pode
Excuse me?
transmitir a tela, porra!
Ah.
Transmitir a tela!
If you guys ever watched my two video recreating Scap. Shut up! Let's start. The year is 2035, Japan. Crowds of. I don't know how to read.
Bro, it's really so much.
Shut up! Let me read it!
As you guys could see, we are very mature. The story is lighted up on the text for us to read, and it's basically said that on the year the game passes, 2035, crowds of spectators are coming to see the first full solar eclipse of the 21st century. And the character you control, Soma Cruz, is climbing up some stairs with his friend Mina Hakuba to see the eclipse. But for some reason the stairs feel longer than usual, and then you fall asleep and wake in the goddamn Dracula castle. Yeah, that intro I made was a reference to this. See, I'm very smart, haha. And then we meet this guy named Genya Arikado, or
Fucking shit, it's mobius!
and I'll be honest with you guys, the dialogue here fucking sucks. It's very expositive and poorly written. I commented that with Folias and he said that the reason of it being so bad is that they weren't written by an actual writer. So the guy didn't really know what he was doing, but anyways, it's at least understandable. Not any good though. A couple creatures appear later out of nowhere and we protect Mina by attacking one of them. And in that moment, we discover our dark power. Soma is able to absorb the power of the creatures he kills. So each different monster you kill can unlock a new kind of ability, and you can choose which one you'll be using on the menu. And this mechanic is actually pretty sick. It brings a lot of possibilities and ways to play the game and strategy, all this shit. You guys will be able to see it more throughout the game. And as I started to truly explore this castle, I came across one of the best aspects of this game, the level design. Okay, even though I am a game dev, I don't know a lot about the technical parts of it. Classifying games as certain subgenre or knowing exactly the best way to do things isn't really my thing. I don't even know how to program lol. I'm way more into the artistical part of it, like art, music, writing, etc. But by the small amount of stuff I know, I can already tell that every single pixel of this game had a lot of thought put into. The way the game just moves and kinda teaches how to do everything without saying a single word is really interesting and works very well. I killed a couple creatures and also received a lot of damage from them, because as you can see on my recordings, I wasn't really that good in moving, and I eventually found this gigantic skull thing that I got killed as soon as I touched it, but despite that I actually managed to kill on second try. A true gamer. Another interesting thing about this game that Folias tried to make a comment about.
This game here é very good.
Okay, what?
Cara, para.
This game is very-
Na moral, para de me atrapalhar, deixa eu falar.
Speak English.
This game have a very good static.
Has, not heavy. This game has a very good static. You dumb fuck.
Mano, para. Não, na moral.
Is this game's very interesting aesthetic. Even though it seems pretty gothic and kinda old, it still has some kind of futuristic feeling somehow. It's something really interesting to see. This also reflects a lot on the designs, mainly of the monsters that, even though being simple, are very effective. Or as my friend Folias said, it's almost like if you went back to the medieval ages and met with some depressive dudes making stories.
The animation of animation is very slow. You're done.
Fuck you.
Jump.
Indeed, Paul, from the past, all the animations on this game are extremely smooth. The technical level of this game's art is in fact pretty awesome. All the animations feel precise and pretty well done. This game's visual identity is what I like to call respectable edginess. I also want to talk about something actually not very related to the game itself, but actually to me. That is how in the beginning I was fucking unable to hit the enemies. I have a terrible motor coordination. I swear to God, I died more in the beginning of the game to some fucking basic enemies than in the whole game by the hardest bosses. But that isn't really the game's fault. In fact, I think talking about the system, mechanics, controls, everything regarding the more practical side of it, there aren't a lot of bad things here. Most of the best stuff in this game happens on the dialogue and writing, that even though I already talked about it, I need to express my complete disgust. The dialogues here are so goddamn obvious. Like, the characters just straight up tell you everything about them as soon as you meet them. It's just so ridiculous and unrealistic. Oh my god, what is happening? Who are you? My name is Aria. My parents left me when I was 5 and I resell loops that I find in random alleys of the street. I am Sinencam and I just woke up in this castle. I don't understand what is happening. Can you help me? You need to find the key of the castle's secret room and defeat the final boss. Okay, I will do that right now. That type of conversation kinda resumes 90% of the game, but well, nothing can be perfect, I guess. Okay, but now let's talk a little about the gameplay parts. I'd like to first of all talk about this game combat, that by itself doesn't really stand out a lot. There are not a lot of different things outside from the average Metroidvania combat system, but what truly makes it very fun is the very big variety of enemies and the way they act towards you. We have a lot of different creatures here, with different behaviors that make the combat way better, using the resources that the not very complex base had, but in a very clever way. And another thing that Jenny Arikado talked about on the beginning of the game, and that also adds up to this in some way, are the multiple different powers you can unlock by killing the monsters. There are a lot of different builds and ways to play the game by changing combinations of equipment, or even just varying the powers you use to defeat different enemies and etc. Such as...
The final cut. You get the final cut.
We also have the other power-ups such as Undyne that allows you walk on water surfaces, the giant bats that allows you literally transform yourself into a bat while you still have MP, and the general extra power attacks you can get by killing enemies and creatures. These are usually unlocked while defeating a boss or finishing up an area, and since the general progression of the game is very well crafted, you always feel like you are being rewarded by each new thing you unlock or each new objective you cross. And talking about this, another cool thing about this game, and that connects itself with the mechanics, is definitively the level design. I already talked a little bit about this on the beginning of the video, but my friends, this game is a reference on what a good level design is. You know, when you are making a Metroidvania, you can't simply make a complete linear game, where you just follow a singular path. Of course not. I already made a Metroidvania myself, and even though, as I said, I was not really responsible for the programming or the level design, or any technical parts, I was constantly learning about it because Folius just wouldn't shut the fuck about how cool this nerd shit was. Even though at the time I was praying for him to stop talking, nowadays I am very grateful. Maybe they should teach about Castlevania and skulls. Nah. Oh, and I made a video about this Metroidvania project too, it's pretty cool. Check it out if you want. Okay, but continuing, the way backtrack is presented here on this game is very well made. For example, you are exploring Area A, and find a path that is in a platform too high up. You try to jump to it, but just can't. It's physically impossible. So you get sad and go explore another place, eventually going to Area B. But in the end of Area B, you find a power-up that gives you double jump ability, and you go back to the platform in Area B and double jump your way to the entrance you were previously unable to go. It seems basic at first, but during the game it's very good. The feeling of being finally able to get a place you previously couldn't is orgasmic. I do think there are some problems that bother me, such as sometimes the game just spamming enemies in abnormal quantities for no fucking reason, such as the scene appearing right now on the screen. It's almost kinda comic. At the time I went on this place it was very stressing and I just wanted to get some equipment. Another thing that also kinda annoyed me, in fact really annoyed me, is the lack of stars or at least healing drops found on the map. Sometimes I went to try fighting a boss, but I had no potions or healing items, and I have to go back to the beginning of the map because there aren't really any stars other than that, and by then going back to the boss, and it was just really annoying and unnecessary. And talking about this game bosses, let's also give them some attention. The first bosses of the game aren't really that interesting, in fact they are kinda boring. I think they could have a little more content than just repeating the same attack every time and calling it a day. In fact, they are so not special that at one point they just start appearing as normal enemies. So yeah, the early bosses are kinda lame. I'm not saying that because they are easy or anything, because of course having difficult bosses on the beginning of the game isn't a very good idea. I'm just saying that they could have more layers and be overall more fun. But I do like the bosses that appear later, one of my favorites being the Headhunter. She's a boss with 3 different phases, and with each phase having a really cool intro of her changing her head and becoming almost a completely different character, which is really cool. I also liked the 3 designs except the last one because it's very difficult to play the game while being hard. What was I saying? This boss is very good and I like the mechanics present on her. Her first phase is just really simple and easy and serves more to present how things will go. It's on the second that things really start. Here we have more attacks and a way more dynamic experience, but still it's nothing extremely impossible. Now on the third one is where things truly get difficult, because despite having some more complex system and requiring a more accurate timing, as I said, it's really difficult to play the game while being hard. Okay, I'll stop with this joke. Another boss that has a really cool intro is Death, that I forgot to record the intro and just recorded the battle, so you can just imagine how it was like. Create a scenario in your mind. Cool. And also Balor, that I did record the intro, that is really fucking badass. The bosses here are actually really good. Despite the first ones being boring, overall they are very well thought and fun. You know, listening to a banger soundtrack while killing these guys is really fun. And talking about the soundtrack, let me talk a little bit about the music too, cause it definitively deserves a shot. The music here is fucking awesome. As a musician myself, I recognize that the composer for this game did a really good job on portraying the gothic, kinda epic and adventurous vibe this game has. We can see a lot of that in tracks like Castle Corridor, that is a banger. It has a lot of rock influences with a lot of orchestral elements. All this done using MIDI instruments, which is very impressive. The less agitated tracks are also very effective and builds up some kind of tension and a really interesting feeling, making you really think about the places you are exploring. It all matches really well and it connects with the art, effects, and the whole artistic area of this game. Everything is not only artistically great, but also technically very complex and very nice. The music may sometimes seem a little bit simple and the instruments may sound not very realistic, but that is because of the technical limitations they had by the time they were producing this game. And despite that, it just really great. I think the soundtrack is one of the best things this game has to offer, and if you like what you listened, you should definitively consider listening to it. Oh, and another thing that you should definitively also consider is leaving a like, a comment, subscribing, and watching the other videos of my channel if you want. Yeah, a shameless plug out of nowhere, fuck it. Okay, but now you must be thinking, after covering all this up, what's the conclusion, you know? How does this game actually end and everything wraps up? And I must say that the way they did it is interesting, at least. So let's talk a little bit about this game's ending and final boss and ending in general. I said ending 2 times, I'm very stupid. First of all, if you are already familiarized with this game, you may know that there is a good ending, a definitive one or something. And I want to warn you that no, I didn't complete the game in that way. I just played it blindly and didn't really know what to do, so I had no idea this even existed. But anyways, I did the regular one. That sucks. I mean, as I already said, this game's writing is shit, and the ending relied a lot on the writing, so I wasn't really expecting a lot on that aspect. But come on, even the boss fight was kinda average. I began thinking, no, there's no way I'm just fighting this dude with nothing cool happening. Then something cool actually happened, and this shit appeared on my screen, and I was fucking terrified. Even though I said this ending sucks, one thing that I can't deny is that this design is fucking sick. Seriously, it's probably one of my favorites from the whole game, and it was pretty shocking to having this appear on my screen out of nowhere. It even reminds me a little bit of Omega Flowey battle. Despite that awesome design, this battle was just kinda meh. Graham Jones is a boring ass character, bland as fuck, just like the rest of them, so I had no connection to him and didn't like him, fuck him. And that Dracula bizarre monster version of him was indeed really good, but the battle itself wasn't really anything special. It wasn't bad, but I was just expecting more. And if you say, but the true ending is good, you are dumb, well, guess what? I didn't do the true ending, and this one still sucks! So yeah, in the end, despite having some problems, I actually found this game really good. It's technically very impressive, mainly by the time it was released, and it's overall just really fun. It was a very good experience, and I really enjoyed it. Even though the dialogues and characters leaves a lot to be wished, it all was compensated on the gameplay.
Hey guys! First of all, please don't skip this part. I know your fingers are already going there to close up this video, but come on, you already watched the video until now, you don't wanna skip this, it's important, please, for me. First of all, what the hell am I doing here? I am basically making a more elaborated outro for the video to be more complete, because I found the outro I recorded on my script and all the shit not very compelling, so I'm here to do a more full version of it. First of all, I'd like to thank you for watching, because this video took a lot of effort. It's bigger than usual, and I put a lot of effort into the editing, scripts, and the video in general. And I'd also like to thank you guys for the support you guys have been giving on my channel lately. My last video was the first one to reach 1000 views, and it actually reached 1000.8 views, which is fucking insane for me. Is this pretty fast, bro? Please, if you watch this video until now and you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing, leaving a like, and comments. All this shit I already said, but seriously, because I am a beginner channel. I have like 5 months, 6 months of channel, and so if you like this video, you probably enjoy the next ones I put out, or the ones that are already out there. I make game reviews, videos about music and games in general, and you probably enjoy them too. Please consider giving my channel a chance. I've been talking about this video for a while, but it only came out now. I'm sorry for taking so long, but I literally needed to finish the game to start recording the video, which is, not very quick to do. Anyways, I like the result, and I hope this video goes well, because if not, I'm going to kill myself. This is all I have to say. Thank you for watching, and as usual, so now, goodbye.